feel like
you don't start things and not
your
finish.
life is going to last a long
quit.
time.
There's
If I was to
nothing
talk
that
to my
comes out of quitting
26-year-old self,
besides knowing that you didn't finish. We
I would
finish
tell
everything. You
that
started,
kid
finish it. If you're gonna do it,
that
do
you
it to
don't
try
have
and be
time.
the best.
And-
Not be better than other people. Be the best for you. Your life is a book. Your life
And
is
you
a book.
really-
Your life got chapters.
you don't know when
Each
it's gonna
chapter
end.
in your life is a punctuation.
And so,
whether it's a positive
get
or
out
negative.
there
Before
and
you
do the
move on
things
to
you
that
want to
next
do.
chapter,
Get
you
out
got
there
a
and get
decision
after
to
them
make. I
now.
wanna correct what I did
Don't
with
wait
chapter
another
before.
second.
Ultimately, when
Take
you get to the
advantage
end
of it.
that book, it's written by you. So
Get
how
out there
it
and
ends,
live.
you wrote it.
Right.
If that book
And
ended bad, which
strive
is your
to
life,
be better.
you wrote that book.
Because the
Why
life
would
you
you
got,
not
which I just said was a
Why would you
gift,
not take a
it is
chance?
a gift.
At one point in time, you got to take a
live it.
chance on you.
That's the hardest thing in the world. To get up every
Yeah, I always wanted to be a commando ever since I was a little kid, and I heard that the SEALs were really tough and that the training was really tough. And then, once you get in, everyone makes a big deal out of bugs, but it's in the SEAL teams, it's no big deal. Everyone goes through it. You get cold, you get wet, whatever. You do a bunch of push-ups and pull-ups and dips. Anyone that gets to the SEAL teams and does deployments overseas and has a real career, they're not talking about buds training. It just doesn't mean it. I had a guy that was, NCAA water polo team captain champion. He quit. And I had a guy that was an Olympic ultimate gymnast, and he quit. Just because someone's a good physical athlete, it doesn't mean that they're a good SEAL. Because being a good SEAL is a lot more than just being a good athlete. Being a good athlete is like the baseline. And it's everything that you learn to do after that. A good leader, a guy that's tactically sound, a guy that makes good decisions, a guy that's good under pressure, a guy that doesn't ever give up on trying to accomplish a mission. Those are the things that make a good SEAL. So you're always learning and growing, and I was always learning until the day I retired. Because it's not a boom, this happened and everything changes. It's a constant addition of skill set and repetition of situations where you become competent at your job. The fear of getting shot or killed is not on your mind when you're in the moment. It'll build up when you're waiting to go out. There's times you're waiting to go out and you're like, think to yourself, okay, there's a lot of bad things going on out there, and some of them have happened to me. But I think at some point you realize that there's nothing you can do about that. Other than just quit and just resign yourself to a life of cowardice. But if you opt to not do that and you step up and say, okay, I'm ready. And if I die, I die. And once you overcome that, then nothing else to be afraid of. There's no one that wishes for peace more than people that have been to war. Because when the war drums sound, it's my friends that are going to fight. That's who's going to fight. It's my friends that are going to put their lives on the line. So when the war drums sound, the people that have been to war are the ones that actually say, let's think about this first. Because like I said before, and like everyone says all the time, and they say it like it's no big deal, but war is hell. When you take an 18-year-old kid, and you're gonna go put him in a situation where he's gonna have to kill people and possibly get wounded or possibly get killed himself, that's a traumatic experience. And so before you do that, you should think about why you're doing it and understand if the people have the will to fight. And the will to fight, as I've said many times before, the will to fight is the will to kill, and it's the will to die. And those are some pretty big wills that you need to have. Almost immediately, we're going to memorial services for Army guys, Marines that are killed, which was a rude awakening. So that's the welcome to Ramadi. The welcome to Ramadi is, you're going to go and pay your respects to some guys that were just killed. And there's firefights in the city. So we're just across the river from the city. There's firefights in the city all day. There's firefights in the city all night. We're on the rooftop of our building. You sit there and watch tracer fire go back and forth. We're shot at from, across the riverbank. It was legit. It was legit combat. It was a legit bad scenario with a sustained combat operation.
How do you lead your men through that when you know they're dealing with not only the funerals, which definitely take a psychological toll, but then even that just constant firefighting over there? I mean, do you have to switch up your gear and think, okay, I got to lead stronger, or maybe a little easier in certain scenarios? Are you changing?
Yes, you do have to modulate your leadership, and you have to do that if you're in the business world. You have to do that if you're leading any kind of team. You've got to modulate, and you've got to recognize when your guys need to be pushed and when your guys need to be not pushed and given a rest. So you're constantly doing that, regardless of what kind of team you're leading. And in combat, like, I say all the time, it's amplified, because if you push your guys too hard in combat, they're going to break. Whereas in business, maybe they make errors on something, or maybe they do snap. I mean, it does happen in the business world where people can't take it anymore. But in combat, it'll happen very quickly. And so, you're constantly modulating and taking measure of where your guys are at. And, sometimes I didn't do a great job of that. Sometimes I went a little far and said, ooh, wow, I just saw the look on that guy's face. He needs a rest. And I should have recognized that earlier. And, you make mistakes, no doubt. What I had on my side was I had experience, and I had paid attention to my elders when I was a kid. And when I was getting trained and there was no war going on and it was the 90s, and I'd hear a guy, someone whose name you'll never